What's up, everybody? M&M&M Across the Board. Ashley and Sean with you this week. Last week, it was Ashley and Eric. We're just two M's across the board. Eric is getting some much-deserved time away, even though he was away last week, technically. He was on the road, Vegas, having fun. Now he's away, having fun somewhere else with his family.
Well, look, you go to Vegas, you need a week off from
Yeah.
that. So good for him.
Yeah,
Good for
you're right
him.
about that.
Yes.
What's new? How was your 4th?
Busy but good. Family. You had the obligatory burgers, hot dogs on the grill.
Mm-hmm.
Boys made some new friends. We had a good old weekend. The beautiful
Cool.
weather was awesome. What
Oh,
about you?
beautiful. And today's not so good, but who cares? It's the day after. Like, you get through the weekend without rain. And I had a turkey dog for the first time yesterday.
Those are good. My kids.
I really liked it.
Yeah, my kids eat those.
I mean, if it's like that, I don't know if it's that much healthier, but if it is, what's the difference?
No, go for it. Go for it.
Big news in the NBA. I wore this shirt because obviously it's going to be a relic now. Kevin Herter is our local guy. The Shen grad gets traded. I think it was the first day of free agency he went. It has been nonstop movement, Sean, in NBA free agency, and he was one of the first guys to get moved to Sacramento.
Yeah, they made the big trade with San Antonio to shore up that backcourt.
Yep.
I feel bad. It's like getting sent to the NBA's version of Siberia.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Sacramento, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? Good chance for him to go get some solid playing time, build his own career, and he's a good player, and he can do a lot of different things. And you know what? That's the way it is in the NBA. Nobody stays in one place forever most of the time. So it's just part of it. I think he's going to do great things out there. He's a really good ball player, and he was in our area. He was highly recruited, but did you think he was going to be in the NBA so quick? Yeah. Not then,
no.
But he'll be fine. And again, sometimes you go to a place and the opportunity is there a little more for him than he may have had in Atlanta.
Yeah, listen, he started a bunch of games last year, but ultimately ended up kind of being their 6th man, and he will not be the 6th man in Sacramento. He will start. He should start every game as long as he's healthy. And it's an interesting team. And I know, listen, the Kings haven't been good in forever. They've got the longest playoff drought in all of the NBA. And you just, every time it feels like they get some good stars, Buddy Hield, he ends up somewhere else. But they're really good. Like, they have some of the pieces, De'Aaron Fox, who is a tremendous point guard, who I think maybe fits Kev a little bit better than a guy like Trae Young. I know that sounds crazy, but I think he's a little more of a pass-friendly, set-up other guy point guard than Trae Young, who needs to get 25, 30 shots a game every night out.
I agree with that. I mean, I think you might have said it early in our podcast history. How far can you go with Trae Young?
Yep.
Right? Because he's a great player.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me a little bit like Allen Iverson and what his role needs to be.
Yep.
And it's got to be him shooting the ball a lot. And is that necessarily good as far as building a team? Can you only go so far with somebody like that being your leader? I don't know.
Yeah. Listen, I mentioned Fox. Domantas Sabonis is a guy that is on their team that they got from the Pacers. Now you have Kev. They just picked up Malik Monk. It's a good young core of players. And I'm not saying, but listen, now with the play-in tournament, you have a chance. You have a chance to at least get into the playoffs. And if he were to go to Sacramento and shine the way we know he's capable of, you go down in history as one of the guys who helped get the Kings back to the playoffs. And if that's all you do in your time in Sacramento, that's pretty darn good.
Hopefully I imagine he'll embrace the opportunity. I met him once. You know him a lot better than I do. Yeah. But again, it's you could look at it two ways. You realize got traded from a team that just went to the Eastern Conference Finals 2 seasons ago. Or, hey, this is a great way to enhance your career. It's an opportunity. And I'm sure that's how it's going to be taken. He's been around the game his whole life. So you understand it's a business.
Yeah. And he did tweet something kind of funny, which you knew it would happen. It makes me laugh because he tweeted my welcome to the NBA moment. And that was it. When you get that call and it says you've been traded, you don't ever think it's going to happen. Like, even when you hear rumors, you're like, oh, no, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so that was his welcome to the NBA moment. And I think, quickly you're hurt, you're stung a little bit because your team wants to get rid of you. But at the end of the day, you got to think of it as there's a team out there who wants you. They traded 2 players and a first-round draft pick for you.
Yep.
They came after you.
That's a
They
building block.
wanted you on their team. And I think Roger Weiland, who we work with, had talked to his dad, and he said, yeah, you know what? It stung at first, but I think he talked to Mike Brown, who's the new head coach there, who's been around the block and who seems to be a player's coach. And Brown said how much they wanted him, and we're looking forward to incorporating him in and trying to get this franchise to the next level. So that's got to be a good feeling for Kevin. And I think you're right. I think he'll shine there. I think he's just going to be more free to be him. He doesn't have to. He can shoot. He can be aggressive. He can be the player that we saw. So I think it's a good thing for him, even if it just means playing for his next contract, which is 4 years down the line. That could be good for him. A ton of other moves, Sean.
Yeah.
I think your Celtics made one of the best moves in getting Malcolm Brogdon.
Is he a good player?
Malcolm Brogdon. They also get Danilo Gallinari, who was traded from the Hawks to the Spurs. Spurs released him, and he should sign with them. I think tomorrow's the first day they can do that. I love Malcolm Brogdon.
He's a phenomenal player, very underrated. That was a great move for them. That it just gives them another piece of that same type of athlete, same height, kind of. Now they have so many of them. They can really, really come at you more in waves than they did last year. To me, that was one of the most understated moves in the first few days of free agency. Where I'm stuck right now is Kevin Durant. Yeah. Because the fact that he gets himself into these social media quarrels with Stephen A. Smith and Skip and whoever. Dude, get some thicker skin, man. Get some thicker skin. But you look at Durant, he had a good run in Oklahoma City. They couldn't get over the hump. So he signs with Golden State. Okay, look, I'll never begrudge somebody take your money and go win a title. Fine. Feels, I think, a little underappreciated in Golden State. Like he didn't get enough credit for the back-to-back wins. So he goes to Brooklyn, and they insulate him with Kyrie and Harden, all these guys, the coach he wants. And he wants out after 2 years of playing. And he wants to go to Phoenix or Miami, a team ready. It's like, if you want it, he's one of the best players in the world. There's nobody disputing that. But sometimes you got to kind of earn your own way to get the legacy that I think he craves. But he seems to like to take the easy way out when it gets a little rough.
Yep, I agree.
That's
the knock. And until you prove otherwise, it's always going to be the knock. Like, he wanted Kyrie. Kyrie was his guy. His bad, because I think everyone else knew that Kyrie is a problem in every other place that he's been. You set yourself up with Kyrie. You wanted James Harden. And then you blow it all up, and now you want out to a better situation. I don't blame you, because I don't want to play with Kyrie either. Nobody wants to play with Kyrie. But sometimes you just got to stick it out. Kyrie's got 1 year left. At the end of that year, you could tell them, do not re-sign him. Let's go after somebody else. Because Durant, I think, has 4 years on his contract left.
There's some guys, if you invest in, I just can't figure it out.
Yeah.
I got criticized on Twitter the other day. They were talking, the Nets and Lakers were talking to Kyrie for Russell Westbrook trade. I'm like, why would either one want the other guy?
Yeah,
So I wrote garbage for garbage, and somebody criticized me for that. Well, you got 2 Hall of Fame players. One doesn't want to play.
Yeah.
Kyrie, something wakes up with something happened in the world and it upset him and he needs 3 weeks off. And Russell Westbrook is, if you haven't learned that Russell Westbrook is not a guy that's going to elevate a team yet, I don't know what it's going to take to figure that out.
Yeah.
Because he's not.
Westbrook is older. We've talked about the Lakers and their age being a huge problem, but honestly, I'd take Kyrie only because he's owed less money. Like, Kyrie's set to make 36.5. Westbrook is set to make 47.1. That's pretty significant. That's probably the only reason I'd take Kyrie over Westbrook, but I don't want either one of them.
I wouldn't want either one. The other guy I wouldn't want is Zion Williamson. He took $231 million from the Pelicans for a guy that didn't play last year.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm no stranger to weight problems, and he
Mm-hmm.
has one. Okay, so really, where is his commitment to the game? And he hasn't done anything in his career, and he's got this huge contract. But if you're the Pelicans, what else are you going to do?
Yeah, I
You know,
mean,
let him go?
no. And not that it's a huge difference, but it's a difference. He's 193 with the potential. Like he has to like win MVP or make the All-Star team in order to trigger some of those other some of that other money. I get where you're coming from, but his rookie year or 2021, he averaged 27 and 7. There aren't a
Okay.
lot of guys averaging 27 points a game in the NBA.
No, but he's hurt all the time.
Yeah,
Look,
I get
let's
it.
be fair. Let's be very fair.
I
He
get it.
went to Duke. I hate Duke. That's
Mhm.
part of it.
Yeah.
I'll be
He
honest.
is for me, he is a very unique specimen. Like I've always said, there is no one on the planet that was built like LeBron James and played like LeBron James at his size. And I would still say that because Zion is still built differently than
Yeah.
LeBron James and doesn't play like LeBron James. But for his size, he's a good talent. So yeah, I don't. He can't. I'm also on kind of the same bandwagon as Trey can't be your number one. I don't think Zion can be your number one either, unless you're
Yeah.
going to put a whole lot of number twos around him. So yeah, I'm not sure that the Pelicans can be a
But
championship caliber team.
for him to be the alpha male of a team, he's got to dedicate himself to the sport.
Mhm.
You know, he was not playing in the playoffs, and they showed him during warmups doing 360 dunks when he's supposedly still not healthy enough to play.
Mhm.
Does he have that fire? Does he have that passion to get to where he could get? Because he is a great talent.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know. Jury's out.
Yeah.
Jury's out.
Listen, he's not the only guy. Darius Garland got the 5-year rookie max extension in Cleveland. He's a phenomenal talent. I'm not sure if he's going to be worth the $193 million. I mean, it's the richest Cavs contract of all time, and I get it. LeBron played there 10 years ago, so he's not
Yeah.
the money has advanced since then, but it's hard to believe that a guy like Darius Garland got that kind of money. So we'll see, but they way overachieved last year. They've got Jared Allen from the
Mhm.
Nets in that terrible trade. They have Evan Mobley, who they drafted. So Cleveland is on the rise. The
They
other
are.
trade that I thought was kind of like a wow trade, and I want to say, I mean, I don't think there's any question that the Jazz won this trade.
Oh,
Is getting rid of Rudy Gobert. I know it makes them worse by not having Rudy Gobert, but they literally gave up 9 players essentially to get Rudy Gobert. They gave up 5 players and 4 first-round draft picks. So if you're going to get rid of the defensive player of the year, 3-time defensive player of the year, and a 3-time all-star, you want to get compensated for it. I think they did that. You have a guy in Donovan Mitchell who you can build around.
Yeah.
They're not going to be good enough this year, but I think they will be okay quickly enough.
I think they kind of looked at it and said, we've gone as far as we can go.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not a championship caliber team or even a team that can make that deep run, it's a great move.
Mm-hmm.
You know, retool probably, but you're right. They have a superstar on their team,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they might struggle a little bit next year, but it's. Would you rather rebuild and try and get better, or you still want to be the 7th seed in the conference every year?
Right.
You know,
And
in sports, if you're not in the top few, you're better off being in the bottom.
right.
You know, few to help you accelerate your path forward.
Yep.
Stuck in the middle is a terrible place.
Oh yeah. And they're close but no cigar, which is never what you want to be. But they got Patrick Beverley in the deal, who I know he's getting older, but every year we talk about him just being a grinder. He seems to be someone that every team wants in important games. He's a defensive nightmare. He will defend anyone.
Yeah.
He has a great attitude. He's a wild man. He goes over in that deal. Walker Kessler goes over in that deal, who's a first-round pick of the T-Wolves this year. And the T-Wolves get better because now you have Karl Anthony Towns paired with Rudy Gobert. So I think both teams win. I just think like 5 players and 4 first-round draft picks for Rudy Gobert.
Wow. If it works, it's a great move.
I'm not sure that, and I get it, it'll be 5 better players and 4 first-round draft picks for Kevin Durant, but I don't know if you're going to get that for Kevin Durant.
I don't think so. Durant's too old.
Yeah.
He's too old.
But he's still so much better than Rudy Gobert.
He is. They do different things, but he is. Yeah. Yeah. If you're telling me which one you want to start a team, I'd take Durant all day. I mean, he's still him. I'll go back to him for a second. He just seems to be soft, at least mentally, because when you're going to have that lofty status and you're going to take shots from people, that's just part of the deal, right? Part of the territory. But he just seems to get upset, and you start getting into a pissing match with Shannon Sharp or Stephen A. Smith. They have a bigger forum than he does. It's a tough one to do.
Anything else that you were, excited about?
No, there's.
I think the Clippers. I don't think we talked about this last week with Eric. I think the Clippers become interesting if Kawhi Leonard is healthy. Because now you have Kawhi, Paul George, and John Wall. Yep. Which is close to a big 3. It's not quite a big 3, but it's close to a big 3. And I think the Clippers will be back in the conversation again this year after a down year last year.
They could. The problem with Kawhi Leonard is he's a great player, right? He took Toronto on his back a few years ago to a title. He showed what he can do. He got too used in San Antonio to playing 60 games a year. And that's a problem. I think that's a problem. I mean, you got to go to work. Yep. Right. You want to be the man of the team. You can't be sitting out 25% of the games for rest. That's why you train. I get it's a travel, it's a tough schedule and all that stuff, but it's a rare thing that happens. And he got too used to it under Popovich, I think. And now he kind of wants that anywhere he goes. And John Wall is an unbelievable player, but his injuries, what have they taken away? Yep. That could be a fantastic trio for sure. But there's some question marks. Although I like Paul George's game for sure.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to watch it. I think if they're all healthy, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
It is. I like Kawhi. And I would love to see the Clippers get bigger in LA and kind of push the Lakers to that market a little bit. Yep. Because Steve Ballmer, I think, is one of those energetic, exciting type owners that brings a value, an entertainment value. It's a little higher profile for them. It wasn't that long ago that Mark Cuban was a pariah around the NBA. He was getting fined all the time and everything. And now, I don't know if he's just grown on people. I love Mark Cuban. Yeah. I think he's great, and I think he's great for the game. And I kind of wish baseball had let him in way back when. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a blast. Listen, I know he's somewhat controversial, but I think he's been better in that regard. He's a blast. And I think, the Clippers are a heck of a lot closer to pushing the Lakers in terms of reigning LA team than I think people think, because if they're back and somewhat healthy this year, the Lakers have huge problems. And we laughed because somebody said this the other day to me, I think on Twitter, like, hey, guess what? I know you think Sacramento's bad, but they only finished 3 games behind the Lakers last year. Wow. It's not all that bad.
Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have called them Siberia.
The Lakers were bad, so that's not a good representation, but the Lakers have superstars. Anthony Davis and LeBron James and Russell Westbrook. You should not be finishing 3 games ahead of the Kings.
You're right. You're right. All right. Hey, let's hear from a couple of our sponsors, shall we? This summer, if you're looking to buy tickets for your favorite band, sports team, venue, or more, remember to buy your tickets at SeatGeek, SeatGeek. Visit SeatGeek.com to search for the event you want to buy tickets to this summer. If your total ticket buy is over $50, use the promo code GOZ. That's GOZ to get $20 off your purchase. Any ticket purchase over $50 from SeatGeek.com, use the promo code GOZ to get $20 off your order. Save some money and enjoy your summer by using SeatGeek.com and promo GOZ. And before we get to baseball, the Mets are in the news. The Yankees are always in the news, especially here in New York. But the Mets are in the news, and our baseball segment is brought to you by Johnstone Supply in Troy. As we all know, that thermostat, summer is here. You can feel the heat here in upstate New York. If you want to stay cool all summer indoors, call Johnstone Supply in Troy. Ask the team at Johnstone Supply about their high-efficiency central AC systems and ductless mini-splits. Goodman, Fujitsu, Westinghouse are all in stock and at great prices. Need someone to help you install a system? Johnstone Supply in Troy can help with that too. Give Tom, Kev, James, or Bert a call, and they help you put you in a cooler place this summer. To stay cool all summer long, call Johnstone Supply in Troy at 518-272-5922 or visit them at 2600 6th Avenue in Troy. Get a new AC system today by calling 518-272-5922 or connecting online at johnstonesupply.com.
Mm-hmm.
So
we are about to find out, close to anyway, just how good the Mets are.
Yep.
Scherzer is scheduled to start tonight in Cincinnati. We will see if he is as healthy as he hopes he is. He started again in Binghamton. I wasn't there this time, thankfully.
To disturb him.
Yeah, yeah, I know. This is classic. Before we even get into again. So Max Scherzer goes, and this is a very nice gesture. I'm not going to knock the very nice gesture. He bought dinner for his entire team, dropped $7,000 on ribeye, filet mignon, whatever, for all the guys in Binghamton. First of all, it's probably because he went and told us that he doesn't want to be a rumble pony and basically pooped on all these poor guys that he was playing with. Maybe he felt bad.
Yep.
Dropped $7,000. And this is going to sound terrible of me, but people are like, oh, what a class act. What a wonderful man. Look at him buying dinner for his teammates. He didn't have to do it. You're right. He didn't have to spend $7,000. Him spending $7,000 is like you or me spending $30 on one another.
Yep.
Like probably not even. The guy got paid $15 million last week by the Washington Nationals, who he no longer plays for, on top of his $43 million a year that he's making from the New York Mets. So very nice of you, Max Scherzer. But let's not get crazy and just anoint him some saintly man because he bought dinner for his teammates. He also wasn't the nicest person on the ball field. So I'll stick with my view. Others can stick with their view. But good on him to buy the dinner.
I think that's something, if you're a guy of his, not even his stature, but in the neighborhood, yeah. I think you're supposed to do that on the way out the door.
It would be nice. I mean,
it is nice.
These poor guys are schlepping it around in buses and eating freaking McDonald's or whatever for dinner. You know what I mean? They're living the minor league life. He remembers that. So I hope that it is done by a lot more people. And I'm not saying a lot more people are going to spend $7,000. He didn't have to buy ribeye and filet mignon, but he did. Yeah. But yeah, I hope that's the way that they treat their minor league compadres.
Well, him coming back is a good time for the Mets because the Braves are alive. They're awake.
3.5 back.
Out. DeGrom is putting up some good numbers on some rehab starts.
Yep, he's close.
It'd be very interesting to see if those two can be healthy the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm. I think you're not going to get DeGrom back till after the All-Star break is my guess. I think. But you're going to get Scherzer for 2 starts before the All-Star break at least, if he's healthy. And yeah, it's going to get – I can't wait because I want to see if they're, how legit they are with these guys. Stats and everything else says they should be much better.
Yep.
Much better than they already are. But we'll see.
Well, they're a half game behind the Dodgers for the top seed in the NL. Okay. The two of the best pitchers in the game haven't pitched yet. And you got to give them the asterisk with the injuries. But if they're healthy, Taijuan Walker stepped up. Chris Bassett he's been okay. He's a little on COVID IL right now, but he's been fine. They have weathered the storm.
Carlos Carrasco. Carrasco. I said this, I think, last time. They have some of the best number 3 and 4 starters in the game when Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer come back. That is a formidable playoff team because you're only going to start 3, maybe 4 guys. So all those guys that you just mentioned, along with Tyler McGill, some of those guys go to the bullpen.
Yep.
And are coming out of the bullpen as starting pitchers. This is a problem every team wants to have. Every team wants to have.
I want to see it because I love jabbing the Yankee fans. It's one of my, when your team is 27-55, you got to find something to keep you interested in. So sticking it to Yankee fans a little bit, but I'm enjoying the Yankee year because
they're fun.
they're having a great year, and it's just entertainment for me. But Yankee fan, a Yankees Mets, I think this Subway, if they had a Subway Series, would be different a little bit than
Yeah,
maybe
I
2001.
agree.
I think this Met team is better
Mhm.
than that group was. Roger Clemens still should have been kicked out of that game. Anyway,
I
um,
I think you're right. The Yankees we saw it with the Astros. The Yankees have trouble, and I don't even know that you can call the Astros power pitching. Like Justin Verlander is not the same Justin Verlander that he was. And you get a guy like Javier, and a guy like Garcia, they're good, but they're not. And then you get one hit by the Guardians. Like this is the problem that has reared its ugly head in the past. And just in the last 2 weeks, it's reared its ugly head 3-4 times for the Yankees. So again, this was why I wasn't like full on dive in convinced that this problem doesn't resurface in the playoffs, because you are going to see the Houston Astros or the New York Mets or or the Dodgers, some team with power pitching.
yep.
Can they finally get over that hump and hit power pitching in the playoffs?
Well, they're going to have to answer the question, right? Because they haven't done it. They haven't done it in a long time. The Yankees haven't won a World Series since 09 and just won since 2000. So it is a challenge, and they still have issues. Brian Cashman's got to get to work. They have two holes in their outfield. I mean, I did a podcast on Pugsley's Pit last week with two diehard Yankee fans during the A's Yankee game on that Monday night. And I had a lot of fun because the A's had the lead, and I made sure that show ended with the A's in the lead.
Yeah, they struggled at times with the A's.
Yeah, well, I got off before the A's bullpen really took over the game, and it went sideways on me. But we had breaking news that night. Joey Gallo actually made contact with a baseball twice in the same at bat. Once was a foul ball, once was a line out.
Yep.
That's not good. I mean, Gallo and Aaron Hicks, you gotta figure out something with that outfield, because you can never have too many bats.
Yeah, listen, Hicks has figured it out more than Gallo, but I've seen a lot of Yankee fans who have said, so they finally brought up Miguel Andujar, who was really good in the first game that they brought him up in. And I've seen a lot of fans who are like, I would play Andujar every day over Joey Gallo, because he at least can hit for contact. He's a good enough, unless he's not a great outfielder, but you're going to take some of the offense over. And Joey Gallo's a Gold Glove outfielder.
Yeah.
But he can't hit the broadside of a barn. So
I've heard Andrew Benintendi rumors. He's having a nice year for the Royals. They have no reason to keep anybody.
They are 22 some games out. 20.
The Royals are 14 and a half out, but that's only because the Twins aren't lighting up that division at all.
Right. Yeah, 14 and a half. You're right. But they're at the bottom of the division. Yeah.
Back to the Yankees, though, 13-game lead. I can't see them choking that away.
It's hard to imagine. And I did say, I think because of that division and how strong it is, everyone's going to beat up on everyone else. And if that happens, if everybody plays 500 baseball from here on out, that lead doesn't go anywhere. So I just don't think it's possible for that lead to go anywhere. But
it'll be interesting with that division, because you got Boston, Toronto, Tampa, three viable playoff teams. I look at a team like Seattle.
Yep.
Seattle's going to get to play a lot of games against Texas, the Angels, who are dead.
Yep.
And the A's, who don't want to win. And I think it's a golden opportunity for Seattle. If those Eastern teams are beating each other up a little bit, Seattle's playing better baseball now. And they got a nice rotation there. If they can get Robbie Ray back to half his Cy Young form, they'll really have something going. I haven't seen strength of schedule. I got to imagine the American League East is just beating the hell out of the rest of the league, and holding even with themselves.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, listen, the NL West is really good too because of its top two teams.
Yep.
But top to bottom, I think when you add in, because the D-backs and Rockies are just not viable. And even the Giants, so I think top to bottom, it's a better division in the AL East.
Yeah, I like San Diego. I still like them. I think I
too.
picked them to go to the World Series at the start of the year. They're hanging in there.
Yep.
And
they're only 4.5 back, which of the Dodgers is not bad.
No, the Dodgers are getting so many injuries. Is it just something they're going to have to get through, or is it something that's just going to be that way all year? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Milwaukee will be good in the Central. They'll hold on. They're better than everybody else.
Yep. And the Cards are okay too. Like
They're always good.
Cards are only 3 back, and you're right. It just seems like they're always good no matter who is on that team.
Exactly. They fire the manager, bring in another guy, and here they
Mhm.
are. You know, Adam Wainwright. I thought he was out of baseball 5 years ago, and he's still viable. And Paul Goldschmidt finally got it going there together.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah, it's going to be
they've got some stars on that team.
They do. I look at the Cardinals. Like, God, why wasn't I a Cardinal fan way back?
Yeah.
You know, great fan base. They're all there.
Mhm.
Although the A's had 24,000 last night for fireworks night, so
Woo-wee!
it was just fireworks night. That's a big
okay.
deal. I'll take it. And
Gotta
they
get
won.
them there somehow, huh?
Yeah, we'll get more into the A's in a little bit. But yeah, it's I would love to see a Mets Yankees World Series. I'm sure a lot of the country would cringe at that. Too much East Coast stuff.
Yeah.
But it'd be a lot of fun to watch.
It would be fun. It would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I would enjoy it. And I've always said it's funny. Like I have friends who are. Listen, my husband's a Braves fan, so I can't. God forbid I ever root for the Mets. But I always say, like, I don't care when the Mets are good. It's fine because it's been a long time since even when the Mets are good that they've been a real threat to anything the Yankees would be doing. So I always say I'm just not threatened by the Mets. So if they're good, great. I think it's good for New York. I think it's good for baseball. Obviously, if we have a Subway Series, I'm going to be rooting for the Mets, but I don't dislike them. So
yeah. Okay. I'm happy they're good again. I enjoyed their run, just a few years ago when they made it to the World Series where they ran into Kansas City, but they suffer from that little brother complex in New York City. So it'd be good if they can get out and play. I have a lot of friends that are Met fans, and they're a loyal, passionate group.
Yeah, I feel for. I have an uncle who's the biggest Mets fan ever on the planet. He's actually Giants Mets, which is weird. But also bad. Jets Mets is bad, but Giants Mets at this point is pretty bad too because neither football team is any good.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah. Quick question: did you see? I know we've knocked Tony La Russa for managerial decisions, but did you see his team run into a triple play last night?
Yes, I did.
Oh my God!
Very
I haven't seen anything that stupid in a long time.
Very inattentive on the base paths.
I mean, I get it. Like, it's a deep fly ball. You think maybe it might go out, but no outs. You can't go anywhere.
Look, it all falls on him. Yeah, he wasn't the one doing the base running. I get that. But that is a team that should be a 92 win team. And they're not. They're 38-40. I don't know what Jerry Reinsdorf is doing. I know he's trying to be loyal to his old friend. It doesn't fit.
Mm-mm.
My other podcast, we talked about, well, Dusty Baker's been a good fit in Houston, and
Different.
It is different. Houston was a World Series champion. Yeah,
also
their biggest problem was a
toxic thing nobody wanted to touch.
Yeah, and Dusty Baker brings in a lot of experience and kind of just settles everything down.
Right.
The White Sox bring in Tony La Russa with a young, talented team. Eloy Jimenez has been hurt a lot, but Luis Roberts, fantastic. Michael Kopech's finally healthy now, and he's starting to get some innings there. Tim Anderson. There's a lot of good things going on in Chicago, and they're terrible, and they shouldn't be. At some point, you got to look at the manager and get a new voice in the room. Who is it? The guy last year, I think his last name was Mercedes, the kid who hit a home run on 3-0.
Oh, yeah.
Hit the 3-0 pitch for a homer and celebrated, and La Russa got so mad at his own player for doing that, he banished him into the minors, and the guy's like not even to be heard from anymore.
Yeah.
He broke an unwritten rule. God forbid he just hit a home run for your baseball team.
I know. Come on.
I don't know how he's employed. I mean, because that's a division that should be right. They should win that division by 10 games.
Yes, they should.
And they're not. And they're only 5.5 out. That's the good news.
Yeah, and you're chasing the Twins and Guardians. Nobody's lighting the world on fire from either of those teams. So things are still possible. Maybe they get a little healthier and they're okay. But yeah, you're right. They're way underachieving.
Absolutely. They're the biggest disappointment in baseball. I think by far. I don't even think. Let me look real quick. I don't even think there's a second.
I was going to say that's a good question. Let's take a look. I've got some stuff written down. Let's take a look. It's probably close.
Phillies 42-38.
They're bad also.
Right? But they fired their manager at least.
The Cubs were a fire sale. You knew the Reds weren't going to be any good. The Pirates are better than I think they probably thought they were going to be.
But
But
look at
yeah,
Philly. They fired Joe Girardi, and all of a sudden they start playing good baseball.
yeah, they're still pretty far back though. I mean, they're what, 8 back?
They're 8 back.
So
They could get in the wild card though.
yeah.
It's there.
I mean, the Angels have turned into what we thought they would be before the season started. They started hot, and then they've been in the dumpster. But yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe the White Sox have been the biggest disappointment because I think most of us probably picked them to win that division.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. No, I think so. The Angels, I don't know if I said it here or I said it in another form. What they have done with Mike Trout's career is just gross negligence. Just awful. And now they got a Shohei, and they got 2 guys, and they're just.
Yep. And I mean, if Shohei is smart, I believe his contract is up at the end of next season. He doesn't resign there.
No.
You can stay on the West Coast. You can go to the Dodgers. You can go to the Padres and still have a legitimate chance to win a World Series. But you will never win a World Series with the Angels the way that team is constructed and run.
Nope.
So for his sake and for all of our sakes, I hope he goes somewhere where he can win and will be in the playoffs. I wouldn't hate it if he came to the East Coast because I would watch more of him. But if he stays on the West Coast, fine. For me, he's exciting, and I think Trout is always just underappreciated because we don't see a whole lot of him. But
we don't, and it's a shame. I mean, he's a generational talent, and you talk about the difference.
But he signed the contract, man. I always say, like, that contract was enormous. He could have said, I want 150 for 5 years, and then I'll reassess. Then you're not stuck there your whole career. You know what I mean? He chose, I don't know what the numbers are, but it was like a 10+ year contract, right?
Yeah.
So some of that's on you.
I don't feel sorry for him. He's getting paid.
And I don't either, because at the end of the day, he's making more money than he will ever need in his life. He's living in California. The weather is great. He has a family. Like, he's doing okay. So I think a lot of that falls on him, because you have to know, if you believe in the franchise, okay, but you got to know that if they don't turn it around, well, now you're stuck here for 10+ years.
The problem with the Angels, I don't know who's making those decisions. They've never understood how to get a pitching staff, as far as from the minors, or you bank on retreads. I know Syndergaard's had a lot of injuries, and he's been okay for them, but he's not going to win you anything, or you can't count on it. I just can't figure out what they've been doing all these years. You know, and some of it's bad luck. You sign Anthony Rendon from Washington, and he's just been an injured mess since he's been there.
And they paid him a lot of money.
And they paid him a lot of money to be an injured mess.
I mean, they paid him superstar money.
Yep.
He has not been that. There are 2 superstars on that team. He is not one of them.
No. Nope. But speaking of superstars, at Mohawk Honda, the team, well, I
thought you were referring to me.
Yeah, sorry. No, I'm going back to the Scherzer's thing. You're worth $30 for dinner for sure.
Thank you.
Your company alone doubles that a minimum. At Mohawk Honda, the team can find what you're looking for by searching our lot or the entire Eastern Seaboard just for you. But the real opportunity for you right now is either trading in or selling your vehicle. Mohawk Honda buys cars, and in some cases, you may be able to sell it for more than what you paid for it. The supply chain is still facing challenges, which creates a selling opportunity for you. And as always, the team at Mohawk Honda will make buying and selling experience very easy. You know them as Cars with Kern, Trust Trav Landry, Luis the VIP Man Morales, C-Mac Let's Do a Deal McKenna, Drive with Deanna Cowles, or you can just talk to the leader in charge, General Manager Greg Johnson. At Mohawk Honda on Freeman's Bridge Road in Scotia, they want to buy your car, and they always go out of their way to please you.
I missed Eric on that one. I will be near Mohawk Honda tonight. We're going to dinner at Shaker and Vine. Have you ever been there?
Nice. I've never been there.
That should be a date night location for you and your beautiful wife.
Date night? What's that?
Well, you got to make those happen sometimes.
We've talked about that. We've talked about trying to do that more. It's
a wonderful, wonderful place. So Chris and I are taking both of our, I say taking, I don't necessarily mean treating. We haven't really discussed that yet, but maybe treating both of our sets of parents to.
Nice. Very nice. Ooh, mixing the parents, worlds colliding.
Oh, wait, listen, we're married.
No.
We hung out with my parents yesterday. His parents had other plans, so we're all going out tonight.
Yeah, we saw our in-laws the other day and had my obligatory 4th of July hot dog.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have 63 of them with the rolls, though I have to give Joey Chestnut a lot of credit. I don't know how you do that and hold it in, let's say.
Mm-hmm. He didn't look like he was going to hold it in very long.
But I think where he gets a lot of credit for that effort yesterday was putting that protester in a chokehold while he was eating.
I mean, and he's got he's in a boot, like a walking boot, because he has a torn tendon in his leg or something. So he's not the healthiest, he's not physically at 100%. And he's just.
People likened him going to battle on the hot dogs, the same as Michael Jordan's flu game in the 98 NBA Finals, where he overcame that. I thought that was a little much.
Yes. Listen, the physical nature of what they are doing is beyond the scope of most of us, but not in a exert yourself. It's a different kind of exertion. I could never do it. They train for it. I understand. To me, it's not a sport. I don't want to watch it. It's really repulsive. I don't like it. When they dunk the hot dog in water, it makes me want to yak.
That's gross. I don't know how you eat that.
It's so disgusting.
I don't know how I get the bread component that you have to eat it for it to count, but to soak it in what? That's just to do it 63 times. That's
I get the idea of it. It makes it easier to just but at the same time, you're also adding water to your stomach. I feel like maybe it works against you. I'm not really sure. I'd have to ask him. I don't know the science behind it.
Very, very good. Yeah,
it's disgusting.
It's disgusting. I actually tried to start watching it yesterday. I had it on.
Yeah.
And I was going to watch it. I don't think I've ever watched it. And the boys started screaming for Paw Patrol.
Well, I get it. They'd rather watch Paw Patrol than Joey Chestnut eats 70 hot dogs.
Yeah, and I'd rather not listen to the request every 5 seconds. So I just gave
that's kids for you.
No, that's the way it goes. And Paw Patrol, pretty good. Pretty good.
Paw Patrol is not bad. I've watched it many a time myself, actually.
All right. And I saw something. They have competitive drinking as well now.
Oh, yeah. So they did it's a gallon of lemonade. And you have to chug it. And I forget how, it was I think it was more than 10 seconds because I watched it on Twitter. But it wasn't more than 30 seconds probably. I mean, the thing is you can't spill. You got to drink it all. That might send you into diabetic shock.
Can you pick your beverage? I know a few people in Chewy's Beer Brigade, Chugatron.
Yeah.
I'd give him 10 seconds for a gallon of beer.
So I'm pretty sure it was a gallon. I saw some people do yellow lemonade, and then I saw somebody doing pink lemonade. Not that it makes a difference. There's a lot of sugar in both.
Oh, man. That's gross. That's gross. Well, hey,
I've got a better shot at that than the hot dogs. I literally think I could eat two hot dogs.
Two.
Okay.
What's
your
hot
turkey dog yesterday and 3/4 of a Wagyu burger.
Okay. Oh, you're living the high life.
Yeah. My dad, he loves to cook and he loves to cook well. I mean, listen, it's a barbecue. You're not cooking all that well, but
what's the toppings? Give me a sense where you are. What are the toppings for you?
For me?
For you.
Straight ketchup.
Okay.
Hot dog, I get a little more adventurous occasionally, honestly, because I knew the burger was the main thing for me. I'm generally a burger person. I tend to pick a burger over a hot dog most times. But because I was kind of feeling a hot dog, wanted to try the turkey dog, I just did a naked turkey dog on my plate and just kind of cut it up and ate it because I wanted to eat the hot dog, but I didn't want a whole bun and all the deal. But if I'm eating a hot dog, I can do ketchup, mustard, I could do relish, anything like that. Burger, I'm generally just ketchup.
You know what I never had in my whole life till a few years ago was sauerkraut on a hot dog. Oh, good stuff.
I love sauerkraut.
Good stuff.
I'm a big Reuben person. I like Reubens.
Yep.
Also on a burger, depending, I like jalapenos. I like barbecue sauce, but I wouldn't do I'm a big condiments person. I like all kinds of sauces, but.
What would you do in this spot? This happened to me a few years ago. at a family cookout with, my wife's family, the Italian side. I like to put mustard on my Italian sausage.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
I don't hate that.
So we're at a cookout and I hear my father-in-law yell over to my wife's cousin, "Hey, make sure nobody's putting their mustard on these sausages. You just don't do that." And I'm like, "Oh, wow." Now they're watching for it. So I would go back into the house and put the mustard on the roll
Oh yeah,
and
good
then put the
idea.
sausage on top of it
Smart.
to conceal it.
Smart.
That way,
I
I
would
get
have
it the
put
way
it
I want.
right on the sausage in front of everybody.
Oh, it's a tough group.
I know,
That's a
but
tough group. You don't put mustard on the sausages in that family. I learned that. So you got to get around it.
I'd put
Make your way
peppers and
through it.
onions on it personally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. But that was smart. That was a good play.
You got to improvise sometimes.
Yeah.
You
Gotta be
and I've
sneaky.
said that there's no rules in a
Yep.
lot of circumstances, and that's one. I don't want to become the topic of the party for other than my other boorish behavior. So
what's allowed to go on Italian sausage? Ketchup?
no,
Nothing?
I think just peppers and onions.
Okay. I mean, I get that, but I tend to put ketchup on my sausage with peppers and onions.
Wow, groundbreaking today.
I do mustard though too. Again, I'm a big condiments person.
Yeah, a little spicy.
Mayo, barbecue, aioli, sriracha, you name it, I like it.
I'm a pesto guy too sometimes.
Ooh, I like pesto.
I like pesto.
It's so funny. I didn't like pesto as a kid or
Yep.
growing up, but it definitely has grown on me.
I never heard of pesto till 10 years ago.
Oh,
I got my little pesto jar in the fridge. Just not for everything. Not for every
There-
occasion.
that
You got to
is,
keep it special.
it's like a spread.
Yes.
Oh, killer.
Yeah. Yeah. The jar's not that big. It probably costs $9,
Yeah.
$10, but it's
Yep.
exactly.
Correct. We have something like that. We have it's not a pesto. We've had pesto, but we have like a spicy tomato spread, which has like Parmesan and garlic in it. Same idea.
Really?
It's so good.
Okay.
I just put it on bread and toast the
Yep.
bread. It's out of this world.
I use it maybe twice a month. It keeps it special.
Yep.
You don't get sick of it. That's something you can get sick of. So
I'm glad we've launched into a full-on food conversation. There's nothing I love more, literally, other than my husband and my family, than food.
Food.
Nothing.
Very good. Very good. No,
I-
that was good.
I always tell people I wake up thinking about what I'm going to eat. I go to bed thinking about what I'm going to eat. I am always looking forward to the next meal.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I love food.
All right.
My dad also, so the biggest staple at any cookout in the Miller household, my dad is a huge cookout guy. He will cook on the grill in the middle of the winter. He cooks out all the time, wants to always cook out. We have a industrial size smoker that hooks up to the back of my dad's truck, or back of my mom's truck, technically. So he does full on pig roasts. We'll roast a 90-pound pig and do pulled pork. My dad's special, though, which I requested for yesterday, is baked beans.
Yep.
He does the most amazing. It's the best thing he makes, and he makes a lot of good things. Baked beans. So if anyone out there likes baked beans, he cooks for hire. He's a caterer. Call him up. Let me know. I'll hook you up.
All righty.
Baked beans.
Baked beans.
Oh, they're so good.
That's awesome.
Sorry.
Whiteboard.
Went off
That's
the
okay.
rails.
That's okay. Got to find a way to get back to sports now because now I'm hungry.
Oh, competitive eating. It just took me in a whole different direction of just eating, not competitively.
Recreational.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Whiteboards.
Whiteboards.
All right. I will go first because your story is a hell of a lot better than mine.
Okay.
All right. So as you all know, I'm an Oakland A's fan. I decided to get off the stadium issue a few months ago. I got tired of it. I am wearing my commemorative baseball's last dive bar shirt for the Oakland Coliseum. For those that missed it, last Thursday, they had a board vote in the Bay Area. The A's needed 18 out of 25 voters to say yes, and the A's are now rounding second
Woohoo!
in their Howard Terminal pursuit of a stadium after a 23-2 vote, which basically, for those Howard Terminal, where they want to build the stadium on the water, they basically said 23 out of 25 people voted to remove the restriction that no other commerce can go in down at the port, for lack of a better term. I'm trying to break it up in layman's terms. So the A's are now 2 steps in, two more approvals to go. I did read this morning that those 2 should be easier than what they just did the other day. So hopefully Oakland can keep its baseball team, unlike its basketball and football teams, which is something I'm adamant about. So keep it going. Let's get a stadium there and save that baseball team.
Listen, there's no one I hope that happens more for than you.
Thank you much.
I don't know. First of all, I don't know any other Oakland A's fans in my life, I don't think. Other than the Smiths, Kevin Smith's parents who love the organization, whatever. But other than that, I don't know so many A's fans. So, yes, I certainly hope that happens for you.
Let's hope.
All right. My whiteboard, this is fight with pronounced Franzi. At least his last name's pronounced Franz, so I would imagine it's Franzi. They may call him Franzi, though. I got to cover a story. I get to cover a lot of cool stories with Channel 13, fortunately. There's a kid named Evan Franz, which also my bracelet says fight with Franzi. You can't see it, but there's a kid who goes to Tamarack High School from Brunswick here locally who is 17. He's going to be a senior in high school. He got diagnosed with a brain tumor 3 years ago now. Had surgery immediately, chemo and radiation, lost a lot of his ability, I believe lost his ability to speak and walk, had to relearn that. Is the ultimate warrior, still fighting, still undergoing treatments at Albany Med. But over the weekend, so Sunday, I got to go to Pittsfield, Massachusetts, which is not very far from us. Different state, but 45 minutes or so, because the Brockton Rocks, who you're familiar with, out of Massachusetts, and the Pittsfield Suns, they are a Futures Collegiate Baseball League summer team, both of them. They play in a summer league together, and they're in the same division. They put together a really special moment for this kid. Evan is a monstrous Red Sox fan. I do not hold that against him. His all-time favorite player is David Ortiz, who happens to be going into the Hall of Fame this year. He wears number 34 for David Ortiz. So they put together this really cool day for Evan, who wanted to meet members of the Brockton Rocks. Why, you ask? Well, because they have the names of Pedro Martinez Jr., self-explanatory, Manny Ramirez Jr., self-explanatory, Gary Sheffield's son, Jaden, Keith Folk's son, and one more. Why do I always forget?
Sheffield?
I did Sheffield Ortiz. Oh, David Ortiz's son. Okay. D'Angelo is his name. So they have a roster loaded with sons of former superstars, most of whom were Red Sox. So he wants to meet these guys, asks if they can meet him. They say, yep, sure, come on over. We'll hook it up for you. He comes over. He's in warm-ups. He's throwing the ball around. He's taking BP. And mind you, this is a kid. He's lost some of the abilities on his right side. So when he hits BP, he's swinging a wooden bat, just lead hand. So all one-handed. And he's in there clubbing the ball. Like no joke, clubbing the ball. It's unbelievable. So what he didn't know about today, or about that day, was when they went to throw out the first pitch, they brought him to home plate, did all the ceremonial stuff, introduced him, but they presented him with a one-day contract.
Nice.
Surprised him. He signed it, and then he hit leadoff for them in the game. So he gets in there, and the guy wasn't throwing 90, okay, but throwing it in, and he takes 2 pitches and then singles down the first baseline.
That's awesome.
Runs it out, leaves to a standing ovation. It gave me chills, tears in my eyes, the whole deal. It was just an example, I think the perfect example of sports transcending life, and all the guys that you talk to. Pedro Martinez Jr. could not have been nicer. He just, brought Evan in, and the stuff that he said about Evan inspiring him and being his hero was really cool to hear. These kids they just had a really good outlook on life, despite they probably grew up having a pretty good life. Their fathers were famous ball players, but they couldn't have been nicer. They made a really cool day for a kid who's been through a lot of hell, for lack of a better term, and is still going through a lot of that because he's fighting cancer. Yeah. So really cool to be a part of, but props to the Suns and the Rocks for doing that. Fight with Franzi, and we hope Evan all the best, but good on all those teams and all those players for doing that for him.
That's awesome. I'm jealous of you a little bit. You had the Deanna Rivers thing a few weeks ago, and it's great that in your position you work hard and what you do and everything, but you be able to go experience stuff like that is fantastic.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All right. So look, we're going to have a double whiteboard segment this week.
Yeah, I got to write it on it. Okay.
It's not so breaking news. It's breaking news to anybody watching this, not necessarily
not
to
breaking
us.
To us, but
this is our final M&M&M Across the Board telecast. It is with a heavy heart that we say that. I've really enjoyed the last year. But you know what? Sometimes as you get into life and things change and schedules change and people's lives changes, and then some things have to be an end result of that. So
yep.
we're the good news is I've known Eric for 12, 13 years now, and we're friends. We're going to continue to be. Ashley, when did you start in this area?
Oh, as soon as I graduated from college. So 2008 was when I started at Channel 9, and then I started at 2013.
I was trying to figure out how long I've known you. So 2008, I started writing for the TU in 2007. So I've known you.
So probably all that
14
time.
years now. You know what's nice was you were always a friendly face when I saw you at games. Now I feel like I really know you well.
Yeah.
You're a great person. I've enjoyed sharing the stage with you, and your husband Chris is a class act through and through. So I'm thrilled for you and what you have going on in your personal and professional life. So a big thank you, our viewers, to Ashley, Eric, and Tom Gozlowski and Gozilla Media. But let's bring in Eric. Eric is away. We're gonna bring him in because he recorded a little snippet.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it for you here.
Hey, I just wanted to give you guys a quick shout out. I found this helmet I borrowed from Jimmy Fox. No, he never played in Oakland. He was with the Philadelphia A's. Maybe he was Ruby. Who knows? Still very protected. Fitting one for today. Just wanted to say to you two guys, it has been so much fun. Not sure what the future holds, but it has been a blast. Sean for the idea, Ashley for fitting it into the schedule, to make room to this old New England guy, to let the stories flow. Great job on the predictions. It was always exciting when somebody got them right. And although we're away on vacation now, when this is going, hopefully you're able to use this. The thoughts are with both of you. And thanks for putting up with my hat of the week. The hats all were very appreciative. They would clap right now if they could. But it's been a blast. Appreciate your friendship. You're both very, very impressive professionals. Know your stuff. And a lot of the friends really enjoyed us and this program. So whatever the future holds, we'll see. But since we're away, I just wanted to let you know. Thank you both. Thanks for all the folks that watched and put up with our corniness, and including them for the week or whatever. But thanks. I know it's from the bottom of my heart. And again, thanks for including this old dinosaur in this wonderful new media venture. Take care.
All right. That was very nice.
Yes, very nice.
So you haven't really plugged Chris's show. You want to take a chance and unplug the podcast? People can still follow you.
Sure. Yeah, people can still follow me. So yes, like you said, I want to thank everyone too. I want to thank you for inviting me to be a part of this. Thank Eric. You guys have been a blast. It's been fun we always say we think we bring interesting perspectives because we are very different. Age, experience, we all, we just bring different, obviously male, female perspectives. It's fun to see where we all come from. So this has been a lot of fun. It never feels like work, which is nice. But yeah, like you said, sometimes careers get in the way of your hobbies. And in this case, this is one of those things. My career gets in the way of my hobby. So things happen. But yes, thank you for including me. You can still find me. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be on Channel 13. And I take part in Chris's show, which is a Channel 13 property. It's called Honorado and Company. And it's on Thursdays at 10 a.m. on social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and then again on my 4 Saturdays at 6:30. So thank you for that opportunity. That's very nice of you. And you're going to continue your other podcast, right?
At Pugsley's Pit on Twitter, YouTube, Apple, Spotify. You have a guest every week, which has been kind of a challenge trying to focus on national sports, but I've made it work. And, it's a shorter segment, just me doing the show with a guest. It's usually 30, 35 minutes, but it's been fun doing that since January in conjunction with all of this. So I'll still focus on that for the rest of the summer. And hopefully we get some good weather, enjoy the family, and take a little break from this show. And you never know what the future is going to hold. And we'll go from there.
Well, enjoy your summer. Enjoy the kiddos. Hopefully this gives you a little more time to do this stuff you want to do.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm not a believer in saying goodbye. I don't do that. I'm a see you next time person.
Yeah. No, I like that too.
So
thanks to our viewers. If you did watch, if you didn't, guess what? You can still go back and watch. It's not going anywhere. The episodes live forever on the internet. So Apple, YouTube, Spotify, go back and watch all of our past episodes. And hopefully we'll see you guys all around soon.
All right. Take care,
Thanks,
Ashburn. You and Chris be well. Enjoy your summer.
Thank you. You too.
All righty.